Now, Effective Communication with Phil Zeller, CEO, Dale Carnegie, Southwest Michigan.
So I've decided to pull some weeds from the garden. Yes, my friends, keeping weeds out of your garden is always a great thing to do, isn't it? Well, my mother always said to me, she goes, treat your brain like it's a garden and make sure you fertilize it, and make sure you give it good plant food, and make sure you water it, and make sure that you pull the weeds out. So you're probably asking yourself, what is Phil talking about? Effective communication, pulling the weeds out of the garden of life is what I'm talking about, my friends. I couldn't help myself. I did it. I've got a confession to make to you. I know some of you have been listening to me for several years, and I do have to make a confession to all of you today. Whether this is your first time listening or you've been listening to us for years here, I appreciate you being here with us. It's an honor and privilege for me to be with you and share wisdom of the world with you here around the world. I was looking at my social media feed the other day, and I don't know how often you check your feeds, but you see stuff coming in. And I saw some people posting negative stuff, and it was very demeaning of other people, and it was negative. And once in a while, people do that because they're venting. I get it. Sometimes people vent. They don't know how to communicate, so they just vent, hoping that somebody will listen to them. But when you start to see a pattern of a person posting stuff that's negative and negative of other people, it really gets to the point where those people, you realize they're unhappy people. And though we want to help them, we can't help them unless they want help. And we've talked about that before in communication and in the show when working with people, because that's what we're working with. So you owe it to yourself to go through your social media feed. And if you consistently see some negative stuff in there, you just basically have to stop that feed from coming your way, because that feed is going to bring that negativity into your life. And that negativity is not going to make your life better. So that's my confession to you. I've been limiting some people's messages to myself that are less than constructive because they're just destructive. They're negative. They're attacking about other people. And when you attack people like that, it doesn't make the world a better place. Unfortunately, it does the dead opposite. Dale Carnegie talked a lot about this. He started this out in all of his research, and it was really interesting because in How to Win Friends and Influence People, there's only one chapter in the whole book that tells you what not to do. And what he shares with you not to do with human beings is don't criticize, condemn, or complain. It's the very first thing he shares in How to Win Friends and Influence People. And it is the only thing he tells you to not do. He says, don't criticize, condemn, or complain. And one of the quotes he pulls out of there is, any fool can criticize, and most oftentimes fools do. So you don't want to be a fool. I don't want to be a fool. We don't want to be seen as a negative person, bringing people down and making the world more difficult than it has to be. Last time I checked, you got enough challenges in your life without some yahoo screaming in your ear some hatred towards somebody else in this world. So the point being here is, don't criticize, condemn, or complain, because it's not going to make your life any better by doing that. And as I think about it, you can break down criticism, and some people say to me, well, constructive criticism is good. Well, it depends. If those rules are made up front, it's constructive for both parties, and it is. But in my social media feed like yours, I wasn't asking for their constructive criticism. They just chose to blow some steam and be negative, and so therefore I chose my right to shut that down and not have to see that, because that is not bringing any positivity in anybody's life. And there are a lot of people. I have one friend that recently shared with me the last several months, they've turned off the news. They're just not watching the news because it was too much negativity. And it's any step that you can take to remove the negativity from your life. And so as Dale Carnegie shared, by don't criticize, condemn, or complain, there's something you can do better. And that which is better is you can seek understanding. And by focusing on what you can understand and what difference you can make, you're actually going to start to win people over to your way of thinking. Because if you start with negative and you keep blasting negativity out there, what's going to happen is people are going to hear that, they're going to see that, and they're going to start to shut down, because they don't want to hear that all the time, because they don't want their life to be awful. Now, I understand misery loves company. So a lot of times that people are posting the negative stuff out there, they're doing it because their life is unhappy. They're unhappy with what's going around them. And so they share that, hoping that others will jump on that misery or feel that same way. So my challenge for you is don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Don't fill your mind with the negativity. Do something more constructive. Fill it with positivity. Fill it with attacking issues, not people. Because when you attack issues, you're focused on solving things in the world. And won't that be a better place when we can help each other make it a better world? And it begins with us. So go ahead, weed your garden. Pull those weeds and have a happier life. Now go make it happen.